As Sigmund and Sinfjotli are being buried alive, Sigmund's sister throws an armful of straw into the grave mound. Hidden in the straw is Sigmund's sword, the gift of Odin. They cut their way out of the grave mound and set fire to Siggeir's hole. The king burns to death. Sigmund calls to his sister to come out, so that she may live and be honored. She does come out, but only to tell him the truth. That she had slept with him, her brother, to beget a strong avenger. I am not fit to live, she says, and walks back into the fire. Strike vengeance from your heart, Senua, as there is always a heavy price to pay. And here is the end of Sigmund's story. He was a fierce and great warrior who fought many battles. One day, an old man came onto the battlefield. Although shadowed by a hood, Sigmund saw that he only had one eye. The man raised his spear, and Sigmund struck at it with his sword, but the sword shattered into pieces. Sigmund then knew that this was Odin, and thus that victory could not be his. He bowed his head and accepted his end. Dying, he tells his wife that she is with child, and that her son will one day make a great weapon out of the fragments of his sword. The sword named Gram. A sword that can slay gods. Its name is Gram. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said a great warrior can reforge Gram by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the Tree of Death will take you to new lands, where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shard.
Go to the shards.
What's the shard? Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you. Find it. The metal. The runes.
You need that sword.
Go to the
Where
shard.
is it?
Find it. There it is.
Focus.
There's the shard. Focus.
Focus.
Use your eyes. Look.
Get closer.
What can you see? Go to it.
It's not safe. Don't go near it.
Move closer. Go.
A king in the north forced the dwarves to make a sword that would never fail and never rust. and that would slice through iron and stone and bring victory to its bearer. But the angry dwarves cursed it. It would be the death of a man every time it was drawn, and it would be the death of the king. Let me tell you about the sword Tyrving.
I don't recognize this place. Where are we? Where is she?
It feels wrong. Where are we now? Burial mound. So strange that we go to such lengths to bury death. Something so very ordinary, inevitable. It's as if we conspire to hide death, because we have no answer for it. But when it comes and forces itself onto our friends or loved ones, then comes the reckoning.
Dead in the air. You can feel the dead. Turn back. Why would he bring her here? It's not safe here. Why would he do something so dangerous? It can't be Dillian. He would never bring you here. Dillian would never do that. He would never risk her life. He cares about her too much. He loves her. He doesn't. He does. It's not Dillian, it's a trick. He loves her.
Senua, you remind me of a story that the Northmen tell about a young woman warrior. Her name is Hervor, the daughter of a berserker born after he was killed. She's a wild, willful child who teaches herself to fight with weapons. When she learns where her father is buried, her only desire is to reclaim the treasure buried with him, but above all, the sword Tyrving.
Dillian, I'm here. I'm here for the trials. Like when we first met, remember? I'll find him.
What's that? Did you hear that? Nothing. Was that voices? Is that his voice or the voice of the dead? Not Dillian. Dillian's calling to you. Can you hear him? Where is he? He sounds like he's getting further away. Have you lost him? You're going lost, and have you lost him?
Where are you? Turn left.
Turn right.
Over this way.
What was that?
This way. Follow this way.
Nothing.
Where are we? There he is.
There he is. Dillian.
There he is.
Finally.
You found him. What's wrong? What happened? Can you hear me?
Let him go. You let him leave.
Just wait there. I'll find you.
You have to find him. This is your mission. Find him. You have to use everything you have and find him. Get him back.
He was just there. How could you lose him? How could she lose
How
him?
could she? Find him.
Herva disguises herself as a man to join a band of warriors, and soon becomes their leader. When they come to the island where her father is buried, her men do not want to go ashore. They say that evil haunts the island, and that it is a worse place by day than other places are by night. Fearless, she lands alone. There are many grave mounds, and all of them have ghostly flames burning over them. She comes to the grave mound of her father after passing through these ghostly fires, as though they were mist. The flames I passed through were real enough. Damn the Northmen to hell.
Don't touch the walls.
You don't know what they might do.
Turn back.
She has to keep going.
It's not safe here.
She has to keep going.
If you go down there, no one can save you.
It's too scary.
I can hear him.
Within the burial mound, Herva calls on her father to wake from death and bring her his sword. She says that it is not seemly for the dead in their grave mounds to bear valuable weapons. Her father answers with words of warning. You go to your doom. Baleful runes surround you. You have gone mad. You have lost your mind. Your thoughts are confused. It is dangerous to wake the dead. Like I said, she reminds me of you.
The voice is getting louder. Listen.
Listen, listen, listen. It's him. Listen.
It's getting louder.
There he is.
You're getting closer.
Keep going.
Senua, follow the voice.
You're nearly there.
Dillian's voice.
It's him. He's going to save you.
Find the voice.
Find him. It's not him.
It's not him.
We told you. We told you it was a trick.
That voice doesn't sound like Dillian.
What's happening?
Quiet.
It's not him.
He wants me to find him. I'm lost without him.
That's not Dillian.
That doesn't
ignores her father's warnings. The grave mound opens, and it seems to be full of fire. Again, Herver demands her inheritance, but her father warns her that the sword is cursed and would be the bane of her family. But he relents and brings her the sword. She leaves the island with it, but the curse holds true, and death would follow in the years to come. And so, Senua, the misdeeds of a father have cursed his daughter.
It's not Dillian.
Find another way. It's not working.
You have to use your mind. Where can you go?
You're failing. Find another way.
Think. Focus. Use your mind.
He's disappeared. You let him slip through your fingers once again.
Think clearly. You have to find another way. There has to be another way.
Within the burial mound, Herver calls on her father to wake from death and bring her his sword. She says that it is not seemly for the dead in their grave mounds to bear valuable weapons. Her father answers with words of warning. You go to your doom. Baleful runes surround you. You have gone mad. You have lost your mind. Your thoughts are confused. It is dangerous to wake the dead. Like I said, she reminds me of you.
Doubt yourself. You'll never find it.
She doesn't recognize it.
Yes, you do. You know where you are.
She doesn't.
Listen for his voice. Listen.
Dillian, where are
Listen
you?
for his voice.
Dillian, she can't hear it.
Dillian wants me to face my fears.
Father? I'm leaving. I've decided. I think it will be good for me.
It's the darkness. It's speaking through
No,
you.
Dad, it's me. I think I can beat it. In my own way.
I can see the darkness in your eyes, child.
I met a boy.
Boy.
The chief and son.
No.
He said he could help me.
It's a trick.
He said I could be normal.
Normal.
Yes.
No boy is going to save you. No one can. When they see the rot growing inside you,
No!
they will turn their back on you. The gods can only fix you through my hand. You're going nowhere.
No.
You will not defy the gods. Come, child, take my hand. Come. Senuas.
I am leaving!
You cannot escape the darkness. Your curse will make everyone suffer. You will have blood on your hands!
It's done. You did it, but there's more. Keep going. There's more. You're tired, but you have to keep going. There's still more. There's always more to do. It's not going to be easy. You're getting tired. Can you do another one? It's too much. Have you got the energy? She hasn't got the energy. No. Too much to do.
I want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Baldr. The second son of Odin, he was beautiful, good and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die. The Northmen tell this story about the death of Baldr. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Baldr dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Baldr's mother makes everything in the world: fire, water, iron, stone, earth, wood, beasts, birds, serpents, poison, sickness, swear an oath not to harm her son. One by one, they each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Baldr's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
You can feel it. You need the runes to fight Dillion. You need Dillion. He's waiting for you. He always said he's close. He cares about you. You can feel he's close. He loves you. Calling you. Dillion. Dillion, wait. Open the gate. She can't. Open the gate. It's locked. Try harder. She can't. She can't. She can't. She will. She'll find a way. She always will. Go through it. It's dangerous. Follow it. What's behind the gate? Where will it take you? It's not safe. Dillion. There he is. There he is. What are you waiting for? Quick, find a way. Find him. Go through before he disappears. Dillion, don't lose him. Way too many times. You always let him disappear. Dillion, there he is. Quick. not here. She's in the wrong world. He's not in this world. He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world. The dark. The dark world.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillian taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of color stretching away from the gloom. And Senua explored new paths into the unknown.
The gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Baldr, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Baldr's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" "I did not ask the mistletoe," Baldr's mother confesses. "I thought it was too young." Oh dear.
He's the reason she keeps fighting.
Dillian saved you. Dillian cared for her like no one else has.
Dillian's the only reason she's still alive.
Senua, you've got it. Do you think she remembers him?
You can't go up
You
there.
can't go up
Not
there.
in this world.
No, not in this world. You can't.
Do you remember the way he stroked your hair?
Do you remember the way he felt?
Dillian undoes the curse.
What does it feel like to feel a love so strong?
Dillian's in the tower.
He's there.
Where are you taking
He's
me?
up there.
He's up there. There's a way. There is a way up there. She can do it. You're nearly there. Just find the way. The curse.
And now the darkness is swallowing you both. Look what happens to the things that go. And now the darkness is swallowing you both.
He led you astray.
You should have listened to your father when you had the chance.
Why didn't you listen to him?
This love has tortured you, and it tortures me.
Loki makes a dart out of mistletoe and goes to the gods as they throw things at Baldr. The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking part. Huth says, I cannot see where Baldr stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon. Loki replies, here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands. And Huth throws the mistletoe at Baldr. It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror, Baldr is killed. And for this, Huth is slain.
You kill the things that are most precious to you. You didn't deserve it. You broke him. You killed him.
You couldn't see the darkness within you. Years had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillian. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior. Friendship turned to love.
With your love because he believed in you.
But the shadow of darkness never let her go, and she was caught between two worlds. That of Zinbel and her past, and Dillian, a future. Two realities tearing at her soul.
The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Baldr. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Baldr's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Baldr's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell.
The curse cannot be.
But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
Your curse has claimed Dillian.
He didn't know. He was kind.
Look what happens to the things you love.
Wasting your
You have no time for this. Speed up.
These rooms mean nothing. It's all
that loved you.
You squashed it, strangled it, flattened it.
The curse cannot be undone. He's the reason she keeps fighting.
He's the reason she's alive at all. What if they're all about wasting your time, just delaying minute by minute by minute? What does she think she's doing? You're not special. She thinks she can.
They mean nothing.
Being special.
Waste of time.
Could all be a waste of her time.
What if the gods are just toying?
Playing,
What if the gods are laughing at her?
messing with her.
It wouldn't be
mind.
this.
Be the first time.
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Baldr return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Are they? Asks Hela. We shall see if he is truly missed. If everything in the world will weep for him, he shall go back to the gods. But if even one thing refuses, Baldr stays with me. The gods send messengers everywhere. Weep for Baldr, weep him out of hell. And everything wept. Men, beasts, earth, stone, trees, metal, everything. Except for a giantess they find in a
In a
cave.
way that nobody else did.
Baldr was never my friend, she says. Let Hel keep what she has. The Northmen say that the giantess must have been Loki in disguise.
Dillion saved you from them. You have no chance of loving you. Nobody will love you again. Ever again.
She should have listened to her father.
Why didn't she listen to her father?
She thought she could defy her father.
Do you remember the way he looked?
The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Baldr's death. They captured him and took him to a cave. They fetched his 2 sons and turned one into a wolf, and he ripped his brother apart. The gods used Loki's own son's entrails to tie him down and turned these bonds to iron and dangled a poisonous serpent over his face so that its venom would drip onto him. Each time the venom drips onto Loki's face, he writhes in agony. The Northmen say that is the cause of earthquakes. A reminder, perhaps, that if even gods must accept death,
Do you remember
and so
meeting
must we.
beneath the tree?
What if this is pointless?
What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this work?
You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere.
Everywhere.
But what if they're not real?
What if they don't actually make sense?
They're a trick.
The gods were lying.
If you think it makes sense, but really the gods are playing with you.
It makes sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense. Worlds.
The gods language, but it doesn't mean anything.
You can't read this language, you don't understand.
Sinbel was right.
You're wasting
Succeed. Slow, quicker. Dillian!
Be very, very careful.
Dillian never much cared for the underworld and looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Sinbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillian's arms, learned to see the world through his eyes. And slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel.
Go to him. Go to him.
That's it.
Quicker. Quicker. It's your fault. He's disappeared. You've lost him to the sea. He's gone. You've lost him to the... He's gone to the water. He's drowned.
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is this the price you pay for the gift you have? A gift that makes you so special in my eyes. Just another part of the person I'm not.
I left for the wilds to protect you from my darkness. Because I love you. But it made it worse. I'm so sorry. What if this is pointless?
What if you're wrong?
What if this has nothing to do with the sword?
What if we're wrong?
The sword will never be yours.
What if this is the end?
It's just a trick. It's just a pointless test.
You've been fooled before, you could be fooled again.
You're being tested.
You don't know.
It's just their game for you.
You never know which way it's going to go.